Welcome to the Bellingham-Whatcom County League of Women Voter interviews of candidates for the Charter Review Commission. The League is a nonpartisan organization. We never support or oppose a party or a candidate. My name is Michelle Kopsha. My guest is Andrew Redding, who is running for the Charter Review Commission from District 1. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are asking all candidates for this commission the same 3 questions. Each candidate has 2 minutes to answer each question, and the responses are timed. All candidate interviews can be viewed on the League's website until after the election on November 5th, 2024. Candidate Redding, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview and for seeking to serve in public office. The first question I have for you, and you have 2 minutes to respond. What should voters know about you that differentiates you from other Charter Review Commission candidates in your district?
Well, first of all, I've been chair of the Whatcom Democrats for 6 years, so I'm in my 6th year. I've also served on the city council in Florida as a Republican, strangely enough. I've also spent 20 years with the U.S. Department of Justice and with the Department of Homeland Security in sort of quasi-judicial roles, although I'm not a lawyer. I'm a public policy analyst by training with a degree from the Princeton School of Public Policy. And so I've had a lot of experience in public policy, actually on both sides of the aisle, but at this point, very much a Democrat. But on the other hand, I'm also very good at reaching across the aisle, in part because of that. And I've done that quite extensively here in Whatcom. It's relevant to point out that this November on the ballot is a proposed charter amendment that was co-authored by myself and by Republican County Council member Kathy Kirschner, who's a former chair of the Whatcom Republicans, and it's for the conflict of interest section. It would expand the conflict of interest section. Currently, it says that you cannot serve in 2 elected county offices at once. This would make it you can't serve in a county elected office or any other elected office at once.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add in your 17 seconds that you have left?
Just that, this is a bipartisan thing. It's a nonpartisan thing. And that's the way I intend to go about it, because it's not about policy. It's about the structure of government.
Okay. Your second question. Polls show Americans are frustrated with polarization in political dialogue. Tell us about an experience in which you worked effectively with someone with a different approach, different values, or goals that were different from your own.
Okay, and that's been alluded to in my first question. I effectively started answering that there. I've developed a close friendship with Kathy Kirschner, who's a Republican, and who I meet with regularly now, where we become friends. And it's been very productive. And that has led me in turn to meet with others across the aisle, with people who usually aren't associated with the Democratic Party, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, whether it's the Board of Realtors, whether it's other Republican elected officials or former elected officials. And I've found it to be that, if you sit down with somebody and you show them respect, you listen to them and they listen to you, you realize there are things you have in common amidst the divergences. And that's been a very exciting thing for me. And the kinds of ideas that I would be promoting are ones that do reach across party lines. Again, because it's not about policy when you're doing a charter, it's about the structure of government. And that's more of a trying to think what the word is for that. It's more of just a civics 101 kind of thing, is the way I always call it. It's really about the basic principles of government. And those are things which, if we really think about that carefully, we can all agree about, perhaps, or at least there can be a greater intersection of agreement. And that's something that I find very exciting, quite frankly.
And your third and final question. If elected, what issues would you focus on during the charter review process?
Okay, so I have a wide series of ideas on that, because I've been talking to a lot of people in all walks of life about this. But let me give you a few just off the top of my head. One of them is ranked choice voting. It's an opportunity to be able to give people to rank their first, second, third choices and so forth. It tends to take a lot away from the extremes, because if you're in a ranked choice election, you've got to be also thinking who's going to choose you second, third, and so forth to be able to get to be able to prevail. So it's something that tends to move people towards having to have more dialogue with people, which you've seen has been a common thread with me. In addition to that, because we're a home rule county, we actually have the opportunity, if we want to not only do ranked choice, but to also get rid of the top two system and let ranked choice lead us all the way through. So we'd only have to have, we can get rid of the primary, not have to have two elections, but rather just one. That would save candidates a lot of money. You know, we've been trying to find ways to pull the influence of money out of elections. Here's a major one. Instead of having to run two elections, you'd only have to run one for county elections. That could be, that's at least something we should be exploring, in my opinion. Another example, we pay the county executive way more than we pay the governor of Washington State. There's something not quite right about that, I would suggest. And so another thing I'd like to look there is to rejigger that so it makes more sense. One way of doing that is to make that a multiple of the minimum wage. I was behind the initiative to raise the minimum wage by $2 in Bellingham that succeeded. And I think putting it as a multiple of minimum wage would make our elected office holders much more responsive to the conditions of people at the bottom.
Again, thank you for providing the public with your views and your values. Viewers, please remember to vote on November 5th. If you are going to be mailing your ballot, the ballot needs to be it needs to be postmarked by November 5th, which means you need to get it into the mail 5 to 7 days before that date. If you're going to be using the ballot drop box, make sure that your ballot is in that box by 8 p.m. on November 5th. For more information, you can go to votewa.gov, that is votewa.gov. Thanks very much for listening, and don't forget to vote.